Peace to the gods. You're listening to Hindsight Radio.
This is South Carolina probate code. So the trust code, South Carolina trust code right there. Make sure y'all can see that. Y'all should be able to see that. All right, now, I'm not going to read all of this because we'll be here forever. Let's go down here. Here it says role of the court administration of trust. Mostly it talks about, but when you read this code, most of it is talking about revocable trust. Irrevocable is hardly ever mentioned in here. Actually, I didn't even see it reading it. But I just wanted you to see something, why it's important for everyone to be a national. Section 627-403, trust created in other jurisdictions. A trust not created by will is validly created if its creation complies with the law of the jurisdiction in which the trust instrument was executed, or the law of the jurisdiction in which, at the time of creation, the seller was domiciled, had a place of abode, or was a national. Did you see it left national by itself? So it's saying that when a national creates a trust, it is valid across all jurisdictions. Because it said here, the settler was domiciled, so if it's domiciled in that jurisdiction, it's valid. Had a place of abode in that jurisdiction, it's valid. But it said, or was a national. Now you see why it's important to get your nationality created, and that everybody involved should all be nationals, because no matter where you go, they would have to honor your trust.
Peace to the gods. You're listening to Hindsight Radio. This is Hindsight Radio. I represent it. The information station changing the nation.
Peace, everybody. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of the Truth Tuesday show with your host, Akeem L, here on Hindsight Radio, the information station changing the nation. I hope everybody's doing good. Shouts out to everybody that is donating and helping support the station. Thank you. Curtis Williams. I think it. Let me see. Let's see who did the donations. We got to give John L. Bay, as always. Thank you for the donations. I think I got to get this super chat thing working where I could give y'all your credit on the screen. So I'll work on that. My family, we're doing great. We are doing absolutely wonderful. Other than the fact that my great aunt, who's 105 years old, she'll turn 105, I think, on the 29th or the 30th. She's not doing too well. So there's a possibility I'll be heading to New York if something was to happen. She's in the hospital. She's 105 and she wants to drink Coca-Cola and, all of the things that they say are bad for us. And my cousin's like reluctant to give it to her. And I'm like, dude, give her that Coca-Cola. She's 105. She deserves to drink whatever and eat whatever she want, in her last days. I mean, they give convicted murderers anything they want on their last meal, right? So why are we, sometimes we can get a little, overly protective in some situations. I understand my cousin. He's a good guy. He's trying to look out. He wants her to live as long as she, can. And but according to what I'm hearing, she's ready. She's done it all. She's ready to go. And she just wants her sweets. She wants her Coca-Cola. She's been drinking Coca-Cola for 105 years. And she's still alive. So there goes the myth and all of the theories. You got to eat right and do all of this and you'll live long. I know vegetarians. I know, these different health gurus. They're gone. And she wasn't an expert on health. They were eating bacon, eggs, and all of the things that they say are not good for you. She ate all of that. There was a time I was not eating. I was on this vegetarian kick some years back. It was probably about, I want to say about 10 years ago. And we went to a birthday dinner with her. This was in Greenville, South Carolina, because my cousin has children in Greenville. And so he went there to visit, and they wanted to celebrate her birthday there. And of course, South Carolina is her home. Winsboro, South Carolina is her home. So I'm sitting there. Was she next? She was right to my left eating, and we're ordering food. And she orders a steak. So 10 years ago, we were talking 95. And that was the end of my vegetarian crusade. That was the end of that. I stopped. I said, wait a minute, I'm looking at her, 95 years old. She's ordering steaks. And then we went to breakfast. She's ordering pancakes and all of this stuff that they say you're not supposed to eat at 95. So I went back to eat meat right after that. That was my excuse to stop with all of that vegetarian kick. I think I stayed a vegetarian for probably a good year and a half. I didn't eat any meat. I mean, I to be honest with you, I felt okay. I don't know. I didn't know, when you eat vegetarian, they got so many processed options. I don't think that's any healthier than, eating meat. But so I threw that out the window. What I'm trying to say, what keeps you healthy and living long is your attitude. What I know about her, she's always joking and she was always laughing. She could get serious, but she always had a smile on her face. And when she saw her family, she was always smiling and hugging and doing all those things. So that has to do that. I think mindset has a whole lot to do with the longevity of your life, how you think about things. Because there's a scripture that says it's not what goes into a man that defiles him, but it's what comes out of him that defiles him. You know, because they will all pick you. Oh, he's eating this and he's eating that, and they said no. It's what comes out of you. It's what comes out of you starts with your thinking. What you're thinking about. What you have in your mind. Are you thinking negative thoughts against people? That's something I got to be careful about. Sometimes I have this tendency to judge people. Hey, that person is overweight. I was sitting down. Me and Beth was eating, and I said something about Wendy Williams that she didn't. I didn't think she looked good. Was a good looking woman, or she don't even look like a woman. Well, you see, I was just about to do a judgment, but that's still not good. That's still you're judging someone's appearance, and and you got to remember, if you're judged, you're gonna be judged. So regardless of how that person looks or how they're not easy on the eye, in your opinion, we have to be careful, about judging people's appearances and stuff like that. And I know that's hard to do. So I guess I felt like I was justified against her because she talks about everybody. But still, I'm not justified. You're still judging people. You're going to be judged. What you put out, you're going to get back. So you got to be careful about that. So, and about the judging thing, we tend to judge on all different levels. We judge because people don't want to hear what we have to say, and we think this stuff is good, and you need to do this because But that's not always true. Those people have a path they need to work. People have to experience things, and we have to be loving and caring enough and compassionate enough to allow them to work their path. May not be what you want to do. They could be your wife, your children, friends. We don't get to control people's lives just because we're friends or we're their husband or wife. We don't get to do that. If it don't work for you, you just don't participate in it. Let them do whatever and get whatever enjoyment out of it they want. And that can be difficult, especially when you're doing these different processes. You think, hey, they're asleep and you're woke. That's a judgment. That is a judgment. Yes, maybe you are have a higher thought process, or you're going in a different direction. And I'm guilty of that. These people are zombies. They're dead in their thinking. That's a judgment. Can't do that. It's not good. I'm going to be watching that. Because a judgment against someone, no matter what it is a hindrance for your progress and your elevation. So that's teaching you to be tolerant and understanding of people of any walk of life. Because remember, at one time, you were walking in darkness. One time I was in darkness, where I thought I knew it all and what I believed was right. And then I changed my mind. Like, I was actually listening to the irrevocable trust webinar. I got to go make some corrections because in that video I said, hey, you need to register your trust, and that's not right. You don't have to register your trust. I got to correct that. See, I was in a little darkness right there on that point, and I got to change that. I got to go correct that. I'm glad I played a little clip of that webinar, but I'm gonna go do a little voiceover and correct that. But judgments are dangerous to your success because those are thoughts that are negative, and you can run around saying how positive you are all you want, but if you're judging people, you're not a positive person. If you're passing judgment, even on the smallest level. Now, if you see something that someone is doing and it doesn't serve you, your agenda, then you just say, that's them. You shake the dust off and you move on. You know? So a lot of things is going on with me and Beth. October the 15th, we're gonna go down and tie the knot, so to speak. Jump the broom. What's the other one? Basically, get married. So that's all set in stone. We've been preparing for that for the last couple of weeks. Oh man, and we're doing something small, and it was a lot. I was like, man, I don't want to do all this. Just all this organizing. I'm excited about doing it. It's just all of the stuff that goes into doing it. Like just something very simple, you know? So some years back we did we did a ceremony some years back. We just basically renewing things, you know. So I'm excited about that. Went and got my tux and everything, got it all picked up, ready to go. Thanks for the congratulations. So what's today's topic? Standing in the fire for what you believe. What you believe. Now, why am I talking about this? We got the president telling y'all idiots for basically saying anybody that's not vaccinated, you're an idiot. And our patience is wearing thin, and then you got the job coming at you. You better get this or you out of here. Just Constitution be damned. Like, don't we have a constitution in this country? The reason why these people even saying stuff like that, because they don't read the Constitution. They don't know the Constitution. And they're just saying all this stuff. But if you don't know the Constitution, you don't understand the Constitution, you'll allow them to tell you some crap like that and you'll roll over. Now, let me just say this. I don't care if you take the vaccine or don't take the vaccine. But what I'm not going to sit here and allow is someone to violate your rights. I'm going to tell you what your rights are. I already did this a couple of shows ago, showed you what the Constitution says, that your religious freedoms cannot be violated. You can't give it up. It's inalienable. So whatever the president says, he's just yapping. Till they get rid of that Constitution, they got to give you the exemptions that you need. And all of these jurisdictions that say they're not accepting religious exemptions, they giving it to you. They talking. That's the news sitting up there running their mouth and saying things. You know, I saw a clip of something yesterday where I'm not going to go into the details because that's a hot topic, but something happened one way, and then when we listen to the news, they spun it a whole different way. So, oh yeah, we looked at the clip. Yeah, this, and this happened, which was totally opposite of what actually happened, showing you that the media is full of it. And they will say anything to spin something to get you to see something a certain way. You do understand that everybody is vying for space for control of your thoughts and how you see things. And this is why kids in college are saying, oh yeah, we need to do away with the Constitution because it's just an old document written by slave owners. See, that's why they told that narrative about slavery and all of this stuff, because, you know, as we know, that the Constitution was written from the American Indians, the Native Americans, the indigenous people. It was written off of that. So how can that document be racist? And I'm coming to think all of these so-called founding fathers weren't who they say they were. The proof is coming out all around that they weren't really the complexion we think they were. You see? The Constitution protects your religious doctrine. Okay, for someone who wrote that, they said the Bible is the religious doctrine, and the Constitution protects that. We have to get it straight. I'm just responding to someone who chimed in the chat. But back to this whole idea to get rid of the Constitution. The Constitution protects your rights. And if you just do yourself a favor and read the Bill of Rights or the article of, it's called the Declaration of Rights, and some of them, you'll see your rights. And because they take an oath to that, they are to defend those rights. Protect your rights. But see, because we're miseducated, even the people that's in charge to protect your rights don't even know what rights they need to be protecting. What they're doing is they're protecting the rights of the state, the interests of the state, to give you citations for speeding and running a red light, not having tags on your car. That's the interest they're protecting. None of that's constitutional. All of that's Bill of Attainder. You see? Now, why did I title Standing in the Fire for What You Believe? And to help you understand, I got to go Bible. The Bible talks about this in the book of Daniel. It was several times in couple of few instances where they, Daniel, 3 Hebrew boys had to stand up for what they believe. And this scripture here is timely. This is what's going on. It's either you bow down to my decree of taking this, whatever it is, and doing it, or you don't eat, you don't have a job. I'm gonna basically try to put you out on the street for something that's not even, keeping you from getting it. You still gonna get it. Oh, but they say, oh, it's gonna have lesser symptoms. Yeah, okay, maybe. I don't know. Maybe not. They tell you it's not guaranteed, but I know the side effects: Bell palsy, possible death, and all kind of other stuff. Women are having extended cycles off of this stuff. That's confirmed. They know this. I was listening to the FDA's. They had a meeting. I think it was last week. It was an 8-hour meeting, and they were talking about those very things in that video. It's the FDA. It's not some off-brand websites. The FDA.gov. It's a video. It's on YouTube. And then when I get a chance, I'll share it in the chat so y'all can go watch it. And listen. No one should be forcing you to do anything. You make your own informed decisions on what you want to do. And a reminder: 563-999-3615. Call in with your questions or comments, and I'll get them after the lesson. So let's go to Daniel. Let's share the screen. Let's share the screen window. Book of Daniel. And I'm starting with chapter 1. And I'm going to read through this. I like to read the whole context. I'm not like most of these preachers out here. They'll read you one scripture and they'll have a whole hour-long sermon off of one scripture without reading the context of what you read. I never could understand that. I never got that part. But I like to read the whole thing. And I enjoy reading the Bible because it some reason it comes to life for me. So here it is. Daniel removed to Babylon. Daniel chapter 1. In the 3rd year of the reign of Jehoiakim, king of Judah, Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, came to Jerusalem and besieged it. So we had a new ruler. Then you got a new president. Okay. And the Lord delivered into his hand Jehoiakim, king of Judah, along with some of the articles from the house of God. He carried these off to the land of Shinar, to the house of his God. He put them in the treasury of his God. Then the king ordered Ashpenaz, the chief of his court officials, to bring in some Israelites from the royal family and the nobility, young men without blemish, handsome, gifted in all wisdom, knowledgeable, quick to understand, and qualified to serve in the king's palace and to teach them the language and literature of the Chaldeans. So they didn't just get anybody to come work with them in this new administration, this new kingship. They got people who was in good health, knowledgeable, quick to understand. See, you guys got to get knowledgeable on what you're doing. People got to get knowledgeable. You're not going to be able to stand up against anything if you don't have the information to empower you to stand up against what they're doing. See, I had someone emailing me today asking me, does my religious exemption work for federal employees? So obviously they don't read the Constitution. It doesn't have anything to do with it, whether you're a federal employee, state employee. It has everything to do with you and your relationship with your God and what you say your religious instructions are requiring you to live by. That's the wrong question. And that's someone who is in fear of whether it's going to work or not. Because that's basically what they were asking me. Is it going to work for this? See, that's someone that's not even religious. They don't really believe in what they're talking about. They're just doing it because they don't want the shot. And then you wonder why these companies are making people get the pastor to do it. Or trying to make them. You don't need to do that. If you know what to say, I ain't got to ask my pastor for anything. The only authority I listen to is God, the supreme. That's who's signing off on this. And how he's signing off on this is through my signature, because he works through me. See, that's what I would tell them, and how they going to question that. And if they give me any more problems, EEOC be called up. And then I'll be initiating lawsuits. I'll get paid. See, y'all got to stop, letting these people run y'all over and start using the power of these courts against these companies. And also use the power of your ability to walk away. Because if all y'all walked out, then who going to do these jobs? You know what it takes to onboard people? Find qualified folks? It costs companies average around $20,000 to onboard somebody. It's a cost in hiring people. And I could be off. That was last time I had a job, what it cost to onboard. All of the paperwork and the things that go into onboard, that's money. Once you understand that company is about profit. See, they can trickle and get rid of one here, there. But when the whole bunch of them start saying I ain't having it, they're going to change. They're going, okay. Stop selling out for a paycheck. Y'all complain about these celebrities and these other people selling out for their paychecks. Y'all some of you people out here are selling out for their paychecks. Letting people do whatever they want to them. But these brothers here, they ain't having it. Let me keep reading. The king assigned them daily provisions of the royal food and wine. They were to be trained for 3 years, after which they were to enter the king's service. Among these young men were some from Judah: Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah. The chief official gave them new names. To Daniel, he gave the name Belteshazzar. To Hananiah, Shadrach. To Mishael, Meshach. And to Azariah, Abednego. But Daniel made up in his mind that he would not defile himself with the king's food or wine. So he asked the chief official for permission not to defile himself. See, they had their minds made up before they were even challenged. See, so many people with these religious exemption vaccines, they making up their mind now. Oh, wait a minute. I got to find something. Oh, religious exemption. They already was ready. See, I was already ready. I've been doing it, close to 10 years now. I've done this. My daughter doesn't take that stuff. And y'all know I don't have an employee to deal with this stuff. But what I'm saying, okay, it's okay now you're getting on board, but don't just let this be it. You got what you wanted, you ain't got the shot, and then you go back to playing around. No, this ain't it, because it's getting worse. They're gonna keep pushing. Why? Because there's not enough people pushing back. There's not enough people fighting for themselves, fighting for their rights. So let's keep going. Now, God had granted Daniel favor and compassion from the chief official, but he said to Daniel, I fear my lord the king, who has assigned your food and drink. For why should we see your faces looking thinner than those of the other young men your age? You would endanger my head before the king. So this official was not educated on food, because he was thinking, that the food they eating, long as they were looking flat and plush and, chunky, whatever they call that, they were healthy. He was under the wrong impressions. He didn't know the science of food. Let me keep reading. Then Daniel said to the steward, whom the chief official had appointed over Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah, please test your servants for 10 days. Let us be given only vegetables to eat and water to drink. Then compare our appearances with those of the young men who are eating the royal food, and deal with your servants according to what you see. So he consented to this and tested them for 10 days. See, that's a key. Some of y'all are thinking about your dietary changes. So he's telling them, let us be given only vegetables and eat and water to drink for just 10 days. Can you do that just for 10 days? I know some of y'all are dealing with some health issues that you're having a challenge. And the only way you're going to conquer some of these issues is to change your diet. Just 10 days, vegetables and waters. And he knew that 10 days was going to show them healthier. So the steward continued to withhold their choice food and the wine they were to drink, and he gave them vegetables instead. So these 4 young men, God gave knowledge and understanding to every kind of literature and wisdom, and Daniel had insight into all kinds of visions and dreams. I think I skipped something. So he consented to this and tested them for 10 days. And at the end of the 10 days, they looked healthier and better nourished than all the young men who were eating the king's food. See, y'all want to eat that king's food. Some of y'all want to eat the king's food. Symbolically, some want to get that injection. That's the king's food. That's the king's stuff. That's the king's idol. That's a symbol of worship. Because they want everybody to bow down to this injection. This man-made so-called cure. They want you to bow down to that. And when you bow down to it, who are you worshiping? Who really is your God? And I know some people, oh, well, it's this and that. Yeah, I know everybody got their opinion. I'm just saying what they're doing. Okay, you got a vaccine. So what? But why everybody got to be forced to take it? When you got a 98, 99% survival rate or something out there. Come on, let's get real. But 17, to these 4 young men, God gave knowledge and understanding in every kind of literature and wisdom, and Daniel had insight into all kinds of visions and dreams. So because they remained faithful, God remained faithful to them and gave them better information, better understanding. They were superior to everyone around them. Now, at the end of time specified by the king, the chief official presented them to Nebuchadnezzar, and this king spoke with them. And among all the young men, he found no one equal to Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah. So they entered the king's service. In every matter of wisdom and understanding about which the king consulted them, he found them 10 times better than all the magicians and enchanters in his entire kingdom. And Daniel remained there until the first year of King Cyrus. So if you remain faithful to your belief systems or your beliefs, you're going to be found favored. You're going to have that knowledge. You're going to have that that you're going to look superior. When you go into a courtroom or deal in any situation, you're going to have the upper hand and people will respect you. I know I get it. So, let me get my Better Life Journal. I wrote some notes in here. I'm trying to organize my days a little bit more. So let's go to chapter 3. Chapter 3. Beth got me taking notes. I watch her. She didn't tell me to take notes. I just watch what she does and I just follow. I need to learn how to do that, not talk so much and just do it, and then people pick up what I do. I think that's a better approach. So here it is. Nebuchadnezzar's golden statue, or Biden's golden syringe. let me stop messing around before they shut the show down. King Nebuchadnezzar made a golden statue 60 cubits high and 6 cubits wide, and he set it up on the plain of Dura in the province of Babylon. The King Nebuchadnezzar sent word to assemble the satraps, prefects, governors, advisors, treasurers, judges, magistrates, and all the other officials of the provinces to attend the dedication of the statue he had set up. Sounds familiar. Very symbolic for what we're dealing with now. All of the governors, advisors, most of these people, they're on board. Get it. Some of them are saying, no, you should have a choice. Some of them are saying that. So the satraps, prefects, governors, advisors, treasurers, judges, magistrates, and all the rulers of the provinces assembled for the dedication of the statue that King Nebuchadnezzar had set up, and they stood before it. Then the herald loudly proclaimed, O people of every nation and language, this is what you are commanded. As soon as you hear the sound of the horn, flute, zither, lyre, harp, pipes, and all kinds of music, you must fall down and worship the golden statue that King Nebuchadnezzar has set up. And whoever does not fall down and worship will immediately be thrown into the blazing fiery furnace. So basically, if they didn't worship this thing, they were gone. They're going to kill them. You see? Isn't that kind of, they're trying to kill y'all jobs, man. Kill your livelihood for this thing. Is that fair? Nothing's godly about that. There's nothing godly. And then there's some people who are, well, you're about to see it. You'll see it. Therefore, as soon as all the people heard the sound of the horn, flute, zither, lyre, harp, and all kinds of music, the people of every nation language will fall down and worship the golden statue that the king Nebuchadnezzar had set up. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego accused. At this time, some astrologers came forward and maliciously accused the Jews. See? People started ratting them out. Aren't y'all dealing with that? Oh, he ain't vaccinated. He ain't. Oh, who he think he is? He endangering my health, but they vaccinated. But you endangering my health. How? You got your protection, right? You took your God's medicine. So why is your God ain't that strong that you worried about somebody that ain't doing it? But let me keep going. Saying to the king Nebuchadnezzar, "Oh, king, may you live forever." See, they kissing ass right now. You, O king, have issued a decree that everyone who hears the sound of the horn, flute, zither, lyre, harp, pipes, and all kinds of music must fall down and worship the golden statue. The golden syringe, I mean. And that whoever does not fall down and worship will be thrown into the blazing fiery furnace. But there are some Jews you have appointed to manage the province of Babylon, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, who have ignored you, O king, and have refused to serve your gods or worship the golden statue you have set up. Then Nebuchadnezzar, furious with rage, summoned Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. So these men were brought before the king. And Nebuchadnezzar said to them, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, is it true that you do not serve my syringe? My bad. Let me stop playing. My gods are worship the golden statue I have set up. Now, if you are ready, as soon as you hear the sound of the horn, flute, zither, lyre, harp, pipes, and all the kinds of music, you must fall down and worship the statue I have made. But if you refuse to worship, You will be thrown at once into a blazing fiery furnace. Then what God will be able to deliver you from my hands? See, he didn't believe. He had gods that he believed in, right? And even he knew for him to make a statement like that, he said, then what God will be able to deliver you in my hand? That means he think he had the power over his own gods. Because he knew his gods were just statues. Fake. Wasn't real. And they never did a thing. He knew that. That's why he could make a statement like that. Then what God would be able to deliver you from my hands? All because why? In the back of his mind, these gods, I just carved this gold one, and I got some hanging up in the room somewhere in my castle. They ain't never done nothing for nobody. See how deep the thinking is there? But then Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego replied to the king, O Nebuchadnezzar, we have no need to answer you in this matter. If the God whom we serve exists, then he is able to deliver us from the blazing fiery furnace and from your hand, O king. Now, this is saying something. All the churchgoers, all the ones who say God can do it, he's on time every time. Where are you now? Ducking and dodging. Where's your pastors, your ministers, your priests? Where are they? Who claim God is above all, he does everything. And he can protect all. Where you at? No, because you're just like Nebuchadnezzar. They just like him. They know that these gods that they made up for y'all ain't doing jack. And because he's the king, he believes he got all the power over your God. But see, when you understand who the true God is, the real God, then you know that they don't have power over anything. They are in subjection to the God that works with you and in you. But you got to start showing your God power, just like they're about to show. But even if he does not, let it be known to you, O king, that we will not serve your gods or worship the golden statue you have set up. They had even resolved in their mind that even if they weren't saved, they wasn't going to bow down to the golden syringe. So religious exemptions and all this stuff, that's an aid. But it all starts in your thinking and your walk and how strong you going to be for your beliefs. You're going to just get blown over with every wind that comes their way? Because after this, it'll be something else. And we know the media is a bunch of liars. Without a doubt, I could show you a clip of something happening and show you how one woman, oh, I saw the clip and this is what it happened. Like, wait a minute. Like, that's not what happened. But see, when they got an audience and you're the person just watching that information, you believe that's truth. None of that stuff's truth. Go read documents. Read. This thing is showing you, in order for them to get to this level of integrity, they had to study and they had to eat right. They had to basically treat their bodies like a temple and treat their minds like a sanctuary. Being careful what they were taking in, being careful who they were hanging around. You think they could have had this level of faith if they were hanging around a bunch of flimsy acting people? Do you think that? No, they would not have been able to do it. They was already in practice daily on their faith. So at this, Nebuchadnezzar was filled with rage. And that's what they're going to do. They're going to be enraged because you saying no. So what? And the expression on his face changed towards Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. He gave orders to heat the furnace 7 times hotter than usual, and he commanded some mighty men of valor in his army to tie up Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego and throw them into the blazing fiery furnace. So they were tied up wearing robes, trousers, turbans, and other clothes, and they were thrown into the blazing fiery furnace. The king's command was so urgent and the furnace so hot that the fiery flames killed the men who carried up Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. And these 3 men, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, firmly bound, fell into the blazing fiery furnace. Suddenly, King Nebuchadnezzar jumped up in amazement and asked his advisors, "Did we not throw 3 men firmly bound into the fire?" "Certainly, O king," they replied. "Look," he exclaimed, "I see 4 men unbound and unharmed, walking around in the fire, and the 4th looks like a son of the gods." See, they expressed their godship. They walked in the image of God, therefore God showed up. And they said, look like the son of the gods. So apparently these people saw the sons of God somewhere else to say, well, he looks like the son of the gods. Then Nebuchadnezzar approached the door of the blazing fiery furnace and called out, "Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, servants of the Most High God, come out." So Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego came out of the fire. And when the satraps, prefects, governors, and royal advisors had gathered around, they saw that the fire had no effect on the bodies of these men. Not a hair of their heads was singed. Their robes were unaffected, and there was no smell of fire on them. Nebuchadnezzar declared, "Blessed be the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. He has sent his angel and delivered his servants who trusted in him. They violated the king's command and risked their lives rather than serve out or worship any god except their own God. Therefore, I decree that the people of any nation or language who say anything offensive against the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego will be cut into pieces and their houses reduced to rubble, for there is no other God who can deliver in this way." Then they got a promotion. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego in the province of Babylon. So they see, people are being tested. Who's going to be the slaves and who is going to be promoted to royalty? Because it's the ones that stand up for their beliefs that's gonna come out the victors in this situation. See, let me tell you something. Just on a relationship level, no one likes a pushover. Man or woman, they don't like a pushover. They want someone that's going to stand firm on what they believe, long as they're not ridiculous with it. But what I'm saying is, people respect and love people who are strong. And what I'm saying is, we got to get together on that. Last one. I'm going to go to chapter 6. This is a plot. Now, y'all got people plotting on y'all on the jobs and against y'all because they kissing behind or whatever. Let's read this one. Now it pleased Darius to appoint 120 satraps to rule throughout the kingdom, and over them 3 administrators, including Daniel, to whom these satraps were accountable so that the king would not suffer loss. Soon, by his extraordinary spirit, Daniel distinguished himself among the administrators and satraps. So the king planned to set him over the whole kingdom. So because Daniel remained faithful, because he kept up with his studies, kept his body in good shape, and his mind in tip-top shape, the king had no, just like, I'm gonna put him over everything, because these guys ain't nothing compared to him. Thus, the administrators and satraps saw the charge against Daniel. They were jealous concerning the kingdom, but they could find no charge of or corruption because he was trustworthy, and no negligence or corruption was found in him. Finally, these men said, "We will never find any charge against this Daniel. unless we find something against him concerning the law of his God. So they in order for them to come after him, they had to study his belief systems to come up with something to trap him. And here we go. So the administrators and satraps went together to the king and said, "O King Darius, may you live forever." There's some more kissing ass. All the royal administrators, prefects, satraps, advisors, and governors have agreed that the king should establish an ordinance and enforce a decree that for 30 days, anyone who petitions any god or man except you, O king, will be thrown into the den of lions. Therefore, O king, establish the decree and sign the document so that it cannot be changed in accordance with the law of the Medes and Persians, which cannot be repealed. So they went to the king to create this law mandate, and so that they can test to see what Daniel was going to do. They knew Daniel wasn't going about to not keep worshiping his God. They knew that. That's why they came up with the plan. They knew he was steadfast, unmovable. Are you steadfast and unmovable in your position about what you say you believe? That's something to think about, because this is just the beginning. I'm only reading this because we got more of this nonsense coming. And it's coming. There's going to be a complete separation. You're going to believe and trust in the government, or are you going to trust in God? Which one are you going to trust? Which one are you going to remain steadfast for? Therefore, King Darius signed a written decree. Daniel in the lion's den. Now, when Daniel learned that the document had been signed, he went into his house where the windows of his upper room opened towards Jerusalem. And 3 times a day, he got down on his knees, prayed, and gave thanks to his God, just as he had done before. Now, he didn't get down and pray for, "Oh, protect me, oh God," and this and that. He ain't do all of them begging prayers. He went in there and said, "Thank God, I know you're going to handle this." Basically, just gave thanks, as he done before. He didn't change it up. Then these men went as a group, and found Daniel petitioning and imploring his God. So that means they were watching him. See, people watching you to see how strong you are. They were watching him, and they knew where they could find him because he was reliable on his rituals. See, we got to get more reliable, more strong. Then these men went as a group and found Daniel petitioning and imploring his God. So they approached the king and asked about his royal decree. "Did you not sign a decree that for 30 days any man who petitions any god or man except you, O king, will be thrown into the den of lions?" The king replied, "According to the law of the Medes and Persians, the order stands and it cannot be repealed." Then they told the king, "Daniel, one of the exiles from Judah, shows no regard for you, O king, or for the decree that you have signed. He still makes his petition 3 times a day." Now, think about this. All Daniel had to do was wait 30 days, and he could go back to doing it. But Daniel was like, "Nah, I'm going to continue to do what I did before. I'm not going to not practice my faith for 30 days because you came up with this decree." He could have just, some of us would have said, "You know what, it's only 30 days. Let me put it into context." Some of us would say, "It's only a shot. I see people living off of it. They surviving. It's only 2." But now they talking about 3. That's not the point, whether it's only 1, 2, or 3. The point is, are you going to stand on your faith? On what you believe in? I don't believe it. My belief system says my body is a temple. I don't put poisons into it. That man says, I got pictures of my apothecary. I'll look that up in a second and show y'all my cabinet of herbs. And that's what I rely. I rely on what God created, what the land gives back to me to keep me healthy. I rely on that, on those medicines. That's what I rely on. And they've been have done well. Then they told the king, Daniel, one of X. Oh, I read that. As soon as the king heard this, he was deeply distressed and set his mind on delivering Daniel, and he labored until sundown to rescue him. So now the king realized he'd been tricked into signing this law. Then the men approached the king together and said to him, Remember, O king, that by the law of the Medes and Persians, no decree or ordinance established by the king can be changed. They could have just ignored that, but nah, they wanted Daniel out of there because he was too powerful. This is what's happening. They're trying to get rid of you. There's people trying to get rid of you because you're too powerful. And they're plotting against you. The people as a collective are too powerful for the few that so-called are in control. So they trying to do whatever to keep you from showing your power. The king said to Daniel, May your God whom you serve continually deliver you. A stone was brought and placed over the mouth of the den, and the king sealed it with his own signet ring and with the rings of his nobles, so that nothing concerning Daniel could be changed. I think I didn't read. So the king gave the order, and they brought Daniel and threw him into the den of lions. Then the king went to his palace and spent the night fasting. No entertainment was brought before him, and sleep fled from him. So this is another, little side thing to take note of. This king went off and fasted. He didn't entertain, and he didn't sleep. He just fasted. When something is bothering you, maybe you should fast. And don't absorb any type of entertainment, and then you can whatever answer you're looking for will come to you. So let me continue. Verse 19. At the first light of dawn, the king got up and hurried to the den of lions. When he reached the den, he cried out in a voice of anguish, "Oh, Daniel, servant of living God, has your God whom you serve continually been able to deliver you from the lions?" And Daniel replied, "O king, may you live forever. My God sent his angel and shut the mouths of the lions. They have not hurt me, for I was found innocent in his sight, and I have done no wrong against you, O king." The king was overjoyed and gave orders to lift Daniel out of the den. And when Daniel was lifted out of the den, no wounds whatsoever were found on him, because he had trusted in his God. At the command of the king, the men who had falsely accused Daniel were brought and thrown into the den of lions, they and their children and wives. They ain't just throw them, they took the whole family. And before they had reached the bottom of the den, the lions overpowered them and crushed all of their bones. Now, some of you would say, man, that's a harsh punishment. The children and the wives, the whole family. Well, they were family to some corrupt men. And see, and when you do corrupt things, your children is going to feel that. Your wife is going to feel that. Vice versa. What you do, and if you have a family, don't just affect you. It affects everyone around you. That's why you have to be careful what you're doing. See, their dishonest deeds, their whole family paid for it. That's how they were doing it back then. You see? You go on and you bow down and you do something to yourself and get your whole family involved in it. Y'all all going to pay for that. You take on the golden syringe if you want to. Then King Darius wrote to people of every nation and language throughout the land, "May your prosperity abound. I hereby decree that in every part of my kingdom, men are to tremble to fear before the God of Daniel. For he is the living God, and he endures forever. His kingdom will never be destroyed, and his dominion will never end. He delivers and rescues. He performs signs and wonders in the heavens and on the earth. And he has rescued Daniel from the power of the lions." So Daniel prospered during the reign of Darius and the reign of Cyrus the Persian. So you will prosper if you remain steadfast to your beliefs. And I'm not talking to the people that just jumping on board. I'm talking to people that are serious. And if you're not serious, you need to get serious. All of this perpetrating like you believe in God, you go to church or whatever temple, and you have all these belief systems, but yet soon as every little thing that they're putting out, you're jumping on it. It's time to make a decision. It is. And thus endeth the lesson, like Reverend Ike would tell you. So, are you willing to stand in the fire for your beliefs? Because the time is coming when you will be challenged. So let's see who's on the phone lines. Let's see. I see a lot of people on the phone, but I don't see any hands raised. Maybe let me make sure. So if you are on the phone lines, press 1. Press the 1, and I can see that you want to come on. So let's go through the chat. Somebody said food is their medicine. Yes, it is. Food is medicine. Oh, that's right. I was about to give y'all an example of my apothecary. I got a picture of it somewhere. Somewhere. Press 1. The number is 563-999-3615. While I look for this photo to show y'all. Take notes. Y'all want to write this stuff down if y'all can see the picture. So many pictures. So many pictures to scroll through. I guess, so hey, y'all gonna let me off early. I must have taught y'all pretty good. Where's my, when you're looking for something, it's never there right on time. I'm getting close. Getting close. Nope. I can't. Maybe I'm just looking too hard. I see my turpentine. Maybe next week I'll show y'all if I can find a picture. I know I have a picture of that thing somewhere. Well, I got all different types of herbs. I mean, a whole cabinet full of them. Hawthorn. Now I can't even think of them all. Yeah, I can't find a picture of it. Sorry, thought I had it on here. Maybe it was I took a picture and sent it to someone to see it. Maybe it's in a text message somewhere. African bird pepper. That's a very good pepper to get. Very good. Right on the level with your cayenne pepper. So that, yeah, I don't have it. Sorry, my bad. So let's see. Nobody got their hands up. Maybe I should do it on Zoom next time. Make it easier for y'all. Okay, let's see what the comments is. Somebody said Picky Real said he need help with the freedom. Make sure y'all get the likes up too. That's right, DJB. They got rid of the whole bloodline. Let's see. October is the month I will register my religious declaration trust with the county clerk, recorder office, and secretary of state, Texas, and it will show I am a minister consult to my trust. Okay, there you go. You don't have to register it, but if that's what you want to do. Somebody, Bowman said, this is something that I recently submitted to my employer and the Secretary of the Treasury. My registered sort of my constructive criticism. Welcome. Okay. I don't know what did you submit? Bowman's. Why don't you get on the line and bring that up? I don't know what you submitted. DJ B Thunder said, my job told me the Constitution is not a religious doctrine. No, it's not. But it protects religious doctrine. I told them it's my religious doctrine. They said, we will get back to you. Ha, ha, ha. Nah, the Constitution is not a religious document. It's a protection for the religious document. So all you got to do is point out that section in the Constitution that your religious freedoms are inalienable. So, no, you said I was correct on register. No, you don't register the trust. Well, I'm talking about registering is when people go down to the county and register it. Now, your other trust, you build credit. You create a profile for it to have credit, if that's what you're talking about. So, all right, man. I ain't got nobody. I don't know. I got people over here, but they ain't press one. So, oh, there we go. They finally got the point. All right, 713-852.
Peace, go. What do I keep?
Hey, what's going on?
I got to go take a flight to Puerto Rico.
Uh-huh.
And everybody on me about this goddamn COVID test.
You got to take a test to go to Puerto Rico? That's a U.S. territory.
The airline said, everything I read said it didn't real places.
Huh?
On the CDC website, they said no, but the airline said yes.
It's not a requirement to go to Puerto Rico? You sure?
Right.
Okay. They just want you to take a test. What type of test?
They said something. They don't like the COVID test on the CDC.
Yeah. I'm okay with the test, as long as it's not that one that they're sticking that thing up my nose.
Look, that's what I said too. The antigen shit, PCR, molecule, or antigen.
Maybe that's the one up the nose. I don't know. Most of the ones, my stepdaughter took was not up the nose. I don't think. I think it was just a swab of the mouth.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what they got going on. So I downloaded a attestation they had on their website.
You downloaded what?
Attestation, ATTESTATION, attestation. I'm not gonna pronounce it. Like you make a declaration, like you declaring something. Attestation.
Attestation. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
I with the test, I don't have anything against being tested. I just don't like the one. I'm not gonna do the one with they sticking that thing up my nose. That one I won't do. Yeah.
That's the same way I feel, bro.
Yeah.
They call it a roof, but they try to get me to go with.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's all. I was just hanging in. Go. I bugged in. I think you were talking about it today. So.
All right, bro.
All good. I'm gonna walk. Like I said, I'm gonna stay in the file here.
Okay. All right. Peace. Thank you for that call. Anybody else? 563-999-3615. 563-999-3615. Dial in. I'm gonna give it a few minutes. Let me just get through all of these comments. I'm seeing what people posting. Thanks for the well wishes for my aunt. I'm about to have another number to call in on, but I think I might just start doing just the Zoom live calls like me and Beth did that Friday. That might be easier for people to jump on and just get on that. What y'all think? All right. With that being said, I'm out. Since I don't have any more callers, see, just as I said that, every time I do that, somebody come on. Okay, here we go. 410-913.
Hello.
Hello.
Peace to the God, I King. What's
Peace to
going
the
on?
God. What's going on?
Hey. Oh man. See, I'm listening. I'm sorry. Let me pause this, Joe.
Okay.
All right. So I got so yeah, well, you read my comments, but
Yeah.
the only reason why I said that about the Constitution was because my job was very persistent on trying to get me to state my religion so they can try to align my beliefs with whatever religion they were trying to shoot down.
Right. No,
So
you can
that's why I
say
said you
whatever.
can't
You
tell me
can
how to
be
practice.
whatever you wanted to state. You could have stated it. I would not have used the Constitution. I would have stated, whatever religion, and then say that protects my religion and point that out. Hey, no matter what this is it. They cannot render you incompetent. That's rendering you incompetent when they say, that religion don't teach that. No, they can't do that.
So she was trying to do that based off of
you tell her that. I said, listen, you about to violate. I
exemption.
tell
No,
them
your
not straight
exemption.
up
So
in
you
their
know how
face. You about to violate some laws that I'm about to get paid on. So
that's
you
why I
make
said
the
the
choice
Constitution is a
on how
doctrine.
you going to do it.
She was like, it's not. I say it references God. It's a doctrine that governs my religion. It's one of them. She
Right.
said, well, I've never. I said, well, that's your interpretation.
Listen, what you
can't
never
tell me how to practice.
see, what she's not even supposed to be having that conversation with you. Right there, you should have shut it down. So listen, you ain't even supposed to be questioning my religion. Because right now, you're in a law, you're liable right now. Meaning I could sue you for this.
Oh.
And I would take that to the EEOC. She can't do that. She can't sit there. No, it's not going back and forth. That's not her job. She's supposed to hear what you have to say and move on. She probably not even the one to make a decision.
She's the chief of our
well, then
CEO,
she the chief, and she could be chiefly liable for what she said.
And that's what I told her. So that's why she said, we'll get back to you.
Said, listen, okay. And you sit up here arguing about my belief system.
A week ago.
Who are you? You're not God.
Yeah. And that's what I said those words to her. And she said, well, I've never heard of it. She was reading the exemption form. I've never heard of that. I said, it's not for what you've heard of what my religion is. I'm free to practice however I see fit and according to the Constitution. As long as I believe in God,
right?
You can't question anything else.
Yeah, it's not your job to question that. You're supposed to hear that and move on. So arguing back and forth with you was totally out of line on her part.
Yep. But that was my reason for putting that in there. This is how crazy that they coming at us.
Yeah, but that's she coming at you out of ignorance. She don't know what you're talking about. She don't know.
But she read what was in my document and said, "Oh, you're one of those people."
Really?
You get what I mean? Because that's how it was. Like I went through this with my doctor. He's my ex-doctor now. Because he said, I went for my yearly physical. Dude say, you vaccinated? I said, no. He said, oh, let me leave out and get a different mask for you people. I said, you people?
You people? That's
so
racist.
I stay calm.
That sounds like
exactly.
What? Discrimination.
So then he comes back, goes through a whole gang of stuff. I say, man, you keep trying to push this COVID vaccine. I say, what's the side effects? You're not going to die.
How do you know? Said, huh? Were you guaranteeing that? You guarantee that? Put that in paper. Yeah.
I said, man, I've already had the virus / disease, whatever you want to call it. And according to the CDC and the FDA and everybody else, I'm 27% more or less. How did I work? I'm 27% more my antibodies in my body are 27% more effective than that vaccine. Oh, I can't argue with them. I said, man, you know what? Stop this visit. My insurance and me will no longer give you a dime to be disrespected. Checked out. And that was Friday, man. He said he can't argue with them once I hit him with facts. And that's ball game. But yeah, this thing right here is a great divide. But like I said, you gotta stand firm on it, man. But you know, I appreciate the teachings. You know, I ain't been to church since last week. Your church. But like, you know what I mean? Since Sunday school, about 9 or 10 years old, man. I really appreciate this, bringing back some good memories.
All right, you're welcome. No problem.
Man, you know, I'll get up with you.
All right, okay.
Everybody be safe, man.
Peace.
All right.
Peace. Thank you. There's the number to the show right there in the chat. 563-999-3615. 56. Press 1. Press 1. When you get on, then I know to pick you up. If you're just on and I don't see that 1 press, I think you're just listening. Okay. All right, who else? Somebody in the chat talking about 9A numbers, indemnity bonds. They're gonna email me. I ain't never talked about no indemnity bonds, so I can't really share any information on that. Because I don't teach that indemnity bonds. And whoever's teaching you, I would just suggest that you ask them how it has benefited them specifically, not how it benefited the cousin and the mama, nephew, and all of that stuff. How they are living with doing these indemnity bonds, how they have been successful. Always ask these questions to protect yourself. The number is scrolling across the screen now, bro. And I put it in the chat. If you in the chat, you can see me put the numbers in there. Thanks for the donation. Steve Johnson, thank you, as always. Appreciate it. By the speaking of Steve Johnson, this is before the show I put on my butter pomade from Wolf's Mane. Talk about what do you want me to talk about the explanatory statement? Can I briefly talk about the explanatory statement? Can you be more specific? What do you want to know? There it is. Butter pomade, Cuban leaf. Smells good. I love the smell of this stuff. Yeah. Drew Blackwell, how about calling in and that? You know, what you want to know about the explanatory statement? I can tell you that the explanatory statement is what is required if you want to claim to be a national but not a citizen of the United States. That's long and short of it. Now, if you want me to say what's in it, what's the point of me having on my website for sale if I'm just going to read it off? I have videos on YouTube that talk about the explanatory statement, what is required, and why you're doing it. But as far as details of it, I don't have that on. You have to get the actual webinar. If you want the webinar, it's there. And the template. Because you said question, can you talk? I don't know what you want me to talk about other than what I just said. Let's see. I'm trying to see if Drew Blackwell got my message specifically. Okay. Yeah, that's addressed. All right, everybody. I'm shutting it down. And I will see you guys later on in the week, actually. The Our Journey show with me and Beth. Beth and I. And so remain steadfast, peace, prosperity, and extreme wealth to all.
Peace to the gods. You're listening to Hindsight Radio. This is Hindsight Radio. I represent it. The information station changing the nation.